Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavate Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. So, continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 8th chapter, prayers by Queen Kunti and Parikshit saved. Text number 27 onwards. So, Queen Kunti is further praying. Namo Akinchan Vittaya Nivrit Gun Vrittaye Atma Ramaya Shantaya Keval Patye Namaha. My obeisances are unto you, who are the property of the materially impoverished. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of material modes of nature. You are self satisfied, and therefore you are the most gentle and a master of the monists. It's a long purport, but let's see. A living being is finished as soon as there is nothing to possess. Therefore, a living being cannot be, in the real sense of term, a renouncer. A living being renounces something for gaining something more valuable. A student sacrifices his childish proclivities to gain better education. A servant gives up his job for a better job. Similarly, a devotee renounces the material world not for nothing, but for something tangible in spiritual value. So, Prabhupada makes a very nice point here. A devotee renounces the material world not for nothing, but for something tangible in spiritual value. Generally, people who say, na, Brahm Satya Jagan Mithya, like only Brahm is true, rest everything is false. And they say we renounce this world to because it is false. But the world did not belong to them to begin with, so how can they renounce it? It's like if I'm living in an apartment, rented place, and I come out of that rented place, I say, I have renounced this apartment. Are Baba, that apartment wasn't yours to begin with. How can you renounce it? So, actual thing that we have to renounce is a inclination to possess it. That I am the proprietor, I am the enjoyer of this place. That inclination, that tendency is what we have to renounce. And like Prabhupada is saying, devotee renounces not for nothing, but for something tangible in spiritual value. So they renounce this idea of being the controller or proprietor, but at the same time, they use that property in the service of Krishna. They say it actually belongs to Krishna. I'm just a caretaker of this property. So that renunciation is a proper renunciation. And that renunciation, Rupa Goswami calls it Yukta Vairagya. And that is a real Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya means you have it, but still you renounce the idea of being the controller or the proprietor or the um, or the enjoyer of that property. Idea is we should use everything in the service of Krishna. The Goswamis were ministers in the governmental service of Bengal, and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami was the son of a big zamidar of his time. But they left everything to gain something superior to what they previously possessed. That what here Prabhupada is writing, the devotees are generally without material prosperity because they are not after any material possessions. If it comes, fine. But it's not like they'll do extra work, hard work to gain some material prosperity. There is a nice story about Srila Sanatan Goswami. He had a touchstone with him, and this stone was left in a pile of refuse. A needy man took it, but later on wondered why the valuable stone was kept in such a neglected place. So the story goes like that. That Sanatan Goswami was at the banks of Yamuna. He used to do his bhajan. And actually, Shivji had sent a person because people go to Shivji looking for material prosperity. So this person came and he prayed to Shivji that he wants to get his daughter married and he needs money for that. Shivji said, okay, why don't you go to this Babaji in Vrindavan, and he has a touchstone, Paras money, and you ask him for Paras money, and you'll be very rich, and you can get your daughter married off nicely. So this person went to Vrindavan, and surely at the banks of Yamuna, he saw Sanatan Goswami. He went to Sanatan Goswami, asked Sanatan Goswami, Baba, is there? Do you have a Paras money? I need it. So Sanatan Goswami said, "Yes, I have that, and it's in this pile of refuse. Kude ke der mein, it's there. So you find it and you take it." So the man looked for it, and he really found that touchstone, and he took it. He was very happy going back, and he was testing it. He touched a piece of iron, and it became gold. He was very happy. I got it. So he was happily going back. But then he realized, if this touchstone is so valuable, why that Babaji had kept it in the pile of refuse? So pretty sure he must be having something more precious than this touchstone. So the man came back to Sanatan Goswami and he asked him, Baba, if they was so valuable, why did you keep it in the pile of refuse? So you must be having something more valuable that you're holding back. What is it? So Sanatan Goswami told him that yes, I have something more valuable. But for to have that, you have to throw this touchstone in Yamuna. Just imagine a big testing time there. But the man, he immediately he threw the touchstone in Yamuna, and then he came back to Sanatan Goswami. What is it that you have? And then Sanatan Goswami gave him Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He said, you chant this, this is more valuable than the touchstone. And it will fulfill all your material desires as well. So Shivji also helps people because if he knows that this person really needs bhakti, but he is after material things, so Shivji can also help. So and then Prabhupada says, he therefore asked him for the most valuable thing. He means that man asked Sanatan Goswami for the most valuable thing. And then he was given the holy name of the Lord. Akinchan means one who has nothing to give materially. A factual devotee or Mahatma does not give anything material to anyone because he has already left all material assets. He can, however, deliver the supreme asset, namely the personality of Godhead, because he is the only property of a factual devotee. The touchstone of Sanatan Goswami, which was thrown in the rubbish, was not the property of the Goswami. Otherwise, it would not have been kept in such a place. This specific example is given for the neophyte devotees just to convince them that material hankerings and spiritual advancement go ill together. Unless one is able to see everything as spiritual in relation with the Supreme Lord, one must always distinguish between spirit and matter. A spiritual master like Srila Sanatana Goswami, although personally able to see everything as spiritual, set this example for us only because we have no such spiritual vision. And Prabhupada is writing this, that we have no such spiritual vision as Sanatana Goswami. Look at the position of Prabhupada, and he is writing that. So for and then Prabhupada did mention that this is for neophyte devotees, just to convince them that material hankerings and spiritual advancement go ill together. Because, like in previous verse, Kunti Maharani says that Janma Ashware Shruta Shiribhir Edaman Madahapuman. Means if somebody has one, two, or all four of these opulences, then he becomes crazy and he will never surrender unto Krishna. But it's not the material possessions, it's our attachment to those possessions that make us go crazy. If we understand it's actually all given by Krishna and I'm just a caretaker, of whatever possessions I have, and actually to be used in the service of Krishna, then there is no problem. Then those assets can be asset for our advancement also. It's not like everybody has to become poor with a kind of a begging ball to to make progress in bhakti. It's not like that. It just we have to understand it properly. It's a long purport, so I will not go over the whole thing. Last paragraph. Because the Lord is the property of the devotees, and the devotees are the property of the Lord reciprocally, the devotees are certainly transcendental to the modes of material nature. That is natural conclusion. Such unalloyed devotees are distinct from the mixed devotees who approach the Lord for mitigation of miseries and poverty, or because of inquisitiveness and speculation. So, such unalloyed devotees, of course, right now we have so much of karma mishrit bhakti that it will take us time to come to the position of unalloyed, it's pure, completely pure devotional service. But slowly, slowly, it will happen. The unalloyed devotees and the Lord are transcendently attached to one another. For others, the Lord has nothing to reciprocate, and therefore he is called Atmaram, or self satisfied. Self satisfied as he is the master of all monists who seek to merge into the existence of the Lord. So such monists merge within the personal effulgence of the Lord, called Brahm Jyoti, but the devotees enter into transcendental pastimes of the Lord, which are never to be misunderstood as material. So that's the difference between monists and devotees. Even the monist, they have this personal hankering of entering the Brahm Jyoti because they want to mitigate their material miseries. So they are also after something. That's in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's a verse that comes, says, Bhakti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakli Ashanta. Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Atev Shanta. Only Krishna Bhakt is Shanta or peaceful because he does not need anything, he doesn't want anything. All he wants is to serve Krishna. That's it. His only desire, which actually is categorized as desirelessness, is to serve Krishna. Bhukti means those who want something material, mukti, those who want liberation. Siddhi means those who do the yoga and get 8 siddhis. They're all ashantas. They're not peaceful because they all want something. Devotees, they say, I just want to serve you. No matter where you keep me, however you keep me, I'll serve you. So he is considered as Shanta, every completely peaceful. So text 28. Manye tvam kalam ishanam anadi nidhanam vibhum samam charantam sarvatra bhutanam yanmitha kalihi. My Lord, I consider your Lordship to be eternal time, the supreme controller, without beginning and end, the all-pervasive one. In distributing your mercy, you're equal to everyone. The dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse. So Krishna is equal to everyone in distributing his mercy. But because we don't have that receptivity, proper receptivity, or proper the container to hold that mercy, that's why they said there are differences. Explanation is given just like when the rain falls on a mountain, the water does not collect there. Water is always collected in the puddle or in a little hole at the bottom. So the rain does not make distinction, but the water is collected at the hole at the bottom. So if somebody is not humble, he cannot collect the mercy of Krishna. To get Krishna is distributing his mercy equally, but a devotee can collect that mercy because he has a humble heart, and he's always begging for that mercy. But for the people who are not looking for his mercy, for them the mercy is, oh, I made so much money, that is mercy of Krishna. Bhagwan ki kripa hai, I'm making so much money. That's what they say. But that's not the real mercy. In fact, Gaur Govind Maharaj said in one of these lectures that there are two kinds of mercy of the Lord. One is Sakapat Kripa and one is Nishkapat Kripa. Sakapat Kripa means he is merciful because he cannot be nothing, because he is made of mercy only. But that mercy, Sakapat Kripa, means he gives the mercy, but he has some, he withholds the real mercy and gives, like, take the material possessions, take whatever you want. But he doesn't give the bhakti. He doesn't give his service. So that's also mercy because he wants to frustrate them first of all and then bring them closer. And Nishkapat Kripa is when he really wants to give himself, give bhakti, give the service. That is Nishkapat Kripa. So Krishna also gives Kripa, but it depends. It's given differently to different people, depending upon the uh, receiver. Prabhupada writes, Kunti Devi knew that Krishna was neither her nephew nor an ordinary family member of her paternal house. She knew perfectly well that Krishna is a primeval Lord who lives in everyone's heart as a super soul, Paramatma. Another name of the Paramatma feature of the Lord is Kala, or eternal time. Eternal time is a witness of all our actions, good and bad, and thus the resultant reactions are destined by him. It's no use saying that we do not know why and for what we are suffering. We may forget the misdeed for which we may suffer at this present moment, but we must remember that Paramatma is our constant companion, and therefore he knows everything, past, present, and future. Because the Paramatma feature of Lord Krishna destines all actions and reactions, he is a supreme controller also. Without his sanction, not a blade of grass can move. The living beings are given as much as freedom as they deserve, and misuse of that freedom is a cause of suffering. The devotees of the Lord do not misuse the freedom, and therefore they are the good sons of the Lord. Otherwise, who misuse freedom are put into miseries destined by the eternal Kala. So that's again the mercy of Krishna, that he lets them suffer, and when they are ready to learn the lesson, Krishna is Paramatma sitting in the heart, and he again makes arrangements for people who are ready to learn the lesson or who have learned the lesson to come back to him. Everyone is suffering and enjoying the result of his own destiny. This destiny is made by the living beings in course of social intercourse. Everyone here wants to lord it over the material nature, and thus everyone creates his own destiny under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. He is all pervading, and therefore he can see everyone's activities. And because the Lord has no beginning or end, he is also known as eternal time or Kala. So he is not partial to anybody except his devotees. In Gita, he says he's partial only to his devotees, but otherwise he is neutral to everybody. And he gives the reactions of one's own karma accordingly. And here Prabhupada writes in the purport about Paramatma feature that without his sanction, not a blade of grass can move. Without his sanction. Of course, man proposes, God disposes. So that's what's happened. So a jiva, when he has a desire to do something, right or wrong or whatever, he has to get the sanction of Paramatma. Paramatma, when he okays it, sanctions it, then and then only the jiva can do something. Otherwise, he won't be. He's not even able to move even a little finger of his hand if Paramatma does not sanction it. So that's how much he's controlling us, and we think we're completely independent. We are completely free. We can do whatever we want. It's not at all possible. So we all are puppets in the hands of Krishna. We are nothing. but puppets. Of course, Krishna directly does not play with us as puppets. He lets his material energy do that. And material energy acts according to the after it the sanctioning is given by Paramatma. So if some like in Bhagavad Gita, there's a very nice painting. If you have seen, there are three ladies. They're holding strings. With the strings, two men are bound, and one man is killing the other man. A beautiful picture painting. So these three ladies are the three modes of material nature, and they're holding the strings, and they're making us dance as they want us to make us dance. The desire is our. If the person has a desire to kill somebody else, then the modes take over, and if he really deserves, if he, in his bank balance there is a bank balance of karma, he has those activities that he can be sanctioned for. He is given the final sanction, and then he kills the other person. Then again, the whole web of karma and reactions go on, action and reaction they go on, and again the material modes of nature take over. Then we again fall into that trap, and then we want to do something. Then again, the more web of action and reactions take over. It's very, very complicated. That's why there was this English movie, no, Matrix, and actually it is true. I mean, forget about uh, all the action scenes in that movie. The concept was very much okay. We all live in a matrix actually, and this matrix is of the three modes of material nature. Of course, they don't say it like that in the movie, but the matrix, it's a big matrix. Matrix is like a big spider web, and we are just stuck in that spider web, in the matrix of three modes of material nature, and the and is activated according to our desires, and we just become more and more and more entangled. So the only person who can take us out of this matrix or this spider web is a person who's free. If another person who is bound up, he cannot take us out. So only the person who is free, who's not in the web, he can take us out. So that's a bona fide guru, bona fide spiritual master. So he can only take us out. So that's why we have to take shelter of spiritual master and his instructions. And he is not going to cut our matrix, just like we studied in 15th chapter. No? Uh, so we are jumping from one branch to another. So asanga shastrena drinena chitva means with the weapon of detachment, we have to cut these entanglements. So this weapon of detachment comes from the instructions of a guru. When we understand those instructions, when we act on those instructions, then the detachment happens. And the detachment, the real detachment is when we are getting attached to Krishna. Then we get detached, and then we can slowly, slowly, slowly cut off all the entanglements. That's only when it is possible. And we have to do our own cutting. We cannot just say, "Oh, Guruji, do some kripa on me," and you're not doing kripa. That's why I'm still bound up. See, after all, it's a mistake of Guruji. It's not our mistake because he is not doing kripa. That's why we are bound up. It's all his fault. No, no, no. He has given his instructions, and we have to follow the instructions. Then the matrix will be gone. Then the spider web is cut. न वेद कश्चित् भगवान् चिकीर्षितं त्वेह मानस्य नृणां विडम्बनं न यस्य कश्चित् दयितो अस्ति करहिचित् द्वेष्यश्च यस्मिन् विस्मामत्र नृणाम्. O Lord, no one can understand your transcendental pastimes, which appear to be human and are so misleading. You have no specific object of favor, nor do you have any object of envy. People only imagine that you are partial. The Lord's mercy upon the fallen souls is equally distributed. He has no one as a specific object of hostility. The very conception of the personality of Godhead as a human being is misleading. His pastimes appear to be exactly like a human being's, but actually they are transcendental and without any tinge of material contamination. He is undoubtedly known as partial to his pure devotees, but in fact he is never partial, as much as the sun is never partial to anyone. By utilizing the sun rays, sometimes even the stones become valuable, whereas a blind man cannot see the sun, although there are enough sun rays before him. So sun rays are open to everyone, but the capacity of the receptacles differ. Foolish people think that the devotional service is flattering the Lord to get special mercy. Factually, the pure devotees who are engaged in transcendental loving service of the Lord are not a mercantile community. So Prabhupada goes further. So he is saying the mercy of the Lord is open for everybody. But a person, if he does not want it or he is so unfortunate that he doesn't take it properly, that's his misfortune. But the devotees of the Lord, they are really ready to take the mercy of the Lord properly and they use it in service of Krishna. They understand everything comes by the mercy of the Lord. Just like in 15th chapter, Gita, we just finished, and Krishna says, from me comes all the knowledge, forgetfulness, and remembrance. I am the uh, I am the fire of digestion in the body of everybody. So everything actually comes from Krishna. So we have to just recognize that, and we have to be grateful to that for that, and we have to use everything in Krishna's service, offer everything back to Krishna as in the service mode. And then Krishna doesn't say that you cannot eat. You offer me everything, you cannot eat. You go hungry. No, he says you eat. You offer me the food first and becomes prasad. You enjoy the prasad. No problem. But with a grateful heart. That's all. With a loving mood, we serve. We offer it to him, and then with the grateful heart, we accept, and then we enjoy. But the people who don't recognize it's all Krishna's, everything comes from Krishna, and it has to be used in Krishna's service. They say, "I'm the enjoyer. I earned it. I'm a self-made man. I became whatever I am by my own hard work and whatever trickery or whatever nonsense things I did." But this is not right. Even to do that, one has to have Krishna's mercy. Knowledge, forgetfulness, remembrance comes from Krishna. So that's what one has to understand. Even to play politics, one has to rely upon Krishna. Without his sanction, we cannot even do backbiting, leg pulling, politics, or any trickery that we can think of. We cannot even do that. But the devotee, he understands everything comes from Krishna, and I have to use it in service of Krishna, and I have to live the life properly. That's all. Simple as that. That's why it is mentioned to go to Golok Vrindavan, to go back to spiritual world, it's very easy. To go to hell is difficult, and we choose the difficult path actually. Why? Oh, why did I say that? See, to go to hell, what one has to do, he has to do lots of impious or sinful activities. So to do sinful activities, one has to have lots of money, or one has to have some strength to do that, to do commit sinful activities. To have money, he has to do some work, either stealing or earn some money somehow. That is lots of hard work involved in making money, and then commit sinful activity and then go to hell. But to become a devotee, just chant. That's it. You don't need lots of money to chant. One can chant, one can serve Krishna, one can have nice prasadam. One doesn't need lots of money. So to go to spiritual world, it's easy now actually. To go to hell is difficult. And afterwards it's more difficult once one goes to hell. But people choose the difficult path. The only difficulty in bhakti is because our inclination is not there. We haven't tasted it yet. And mind always goes towards the lower modes of nature. I want to do um, those low things. That's why we get into this trap. That bhakti is very difficult. Actually, bhakti is a natural position of the soul. It's very easy. It's more easy than committing sinful activities. But the mind, when it takes over, that's where the problem happens. So I'll stop here and see anybody. Oh, I went over time. Uh, Ask anybody has questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
My
Krishna,
question
Mata.
is, you said that Lord sanctions our desire, then only we do actions. So all the the bad things happening in the world, or the terrorism, or everything, killing. So these are also sanctioned by the Lord.
Yeah, yeah. Without his sanction, nothing can happen.
So then the question arises, why God is sanctioning all those things?
Um, See, many reasons. First, a desire is there of the person to commit murder or to do bomb blast or something. And then also the reason is those people who either get killed or get injured in those activities, they all have a karma to pay for. So maybe the time has come for them to pay for their karmas. So collective karma also. Then Krishna collects everybody over there with a similar karma, and then they suffer for this karma.
But the person who is doing this in this lifetime, I mean, the person who is dying, I have understood that because of his karma he died like this. But the person who is killing, he is also again doing a bad karma.
Either he's starting a new karma, or maybe he's also taking revenge from the previous karmas. Maybe they
But
all.
taking revenge is also a bad karma. Then
Yeah, yeah, that part we understand. Um, See, for a human being, a proper human being, see, if some 50 people had to die by my hand because of previous lives, some action reaction. A person who understands scriptures, he says, I will not do it. Krishna, you want to punish them, you punish them whichever way you want. I'm not going to do it. But a person who doesn't understand, then he gets used as an instrument. Or maybe it's a new karma that he's starting. We don't know. Because karma is very hard to understand. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, karma is very difficult to understand. So if he is starting his karma and the 50 people who died, they had the collective karma to die like that. But then this person who started a new karma, he has to suffer a lot of reactions. So then he will suffer later on. So
thank you, Raji.
it's very difficult to understand. I know that. So that's why scriptures are there for as guiding lights to tell us what to do and what not to do.
Okay, thank you, Raji.
You're welcome, Arth. Any other question or comment? Radha Prabhu, did I say everything right? Astrologically also, or no?
No, bro, you are always right.
No, no, no. I'm not always right.
At least someone here you explain it very well and giving right examples.
Only by your mercy.
I am nothing.
Okay, so thank you all very much. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri
Thank you.
Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Roji.